What's up guys, welcome back to Texas Young Guns. I'm glad to see you here. If you like the video that you're about to see, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Who knows, you might like what we put out. So let's have a discussion. The topic that we're going to talk about today is not particularly, well, it's not something you hear a lot of RVs talk about. And this is the truth of RVing. For any of you newbies, experienced RVers, or anything in between, it's good for everybody to hear. And here's the truth. RVing is a lot of fun. To me and Lana, Texas Young Guns, there's not much more relaxing ways to spend your time than on an RV trip. Whether it's at an RV park, a resort, a state park, or just seeing the sights, boondocking. There's not too many more ways than on an RV to be more relaxing and have much more fun. But the truth is, sometimes RVing can be just as much work as it is fun. And I believe this is true whether you have a new RV or a used RV. Because let's just face it, RVs are so popular these days, and they have been for a while. They're just throwing them through the factory. They're not really handcrafting much these days unless you're buying a really expensive rig. A lot of it's put together so fast. But truth be told, when you build an RV, you're really asking a lot of it. You're asking for a house or small apartment that provides those needs, to be able to also go down the freeway at high speeds and have all different kinds of electrical systems, propane, water, all that kind of good stuff. And you're asking it to withstand the bumps of the road, the hazards of the road, and really it's just asking a lot. Now don't misunderstand, the point of this video isn't to scare anybody away. The point of this video is to be realistic about what you're going to go through owning an RV, especially if you're new to it or thinking about buying one. Now, if you see, we chose to go with a big motorhome. Definitely not one of the cheapest ways to go to RVing. And my point of bringing that up is this. RVing, I found, is either as expensive as you want it or as cheap as you want it. And what I mean by that is, well, a motorhome, you have the engine component. You also have the regular RV stuff that you have to deal with. And you have tires and all that kind of good stuff to deal with. There's more components to a motorhome than there is, say, just a normal RV trailer. And I think that's why a lot of people go with trailers. And we can go over, have a whole new video about the differences, which we kind of already did a little bit in one of our prior videos. But the point is this. If you want to get into RVing, that's perfectly fine. Just know that almost every trip, or a majority of your trips, something is going to break. And the difference between your trip being ruined or not is whatever it is that broke. So my advice, if you're wanting to get into RV, is you need to be flexible and willing to roll with the punches. And it's a lot easier to roll through the punches if you're willing to do stuff yourself. Now I can already hear RVers screaming because, well, I think people with the new RVs, you know, they have a feeling that if you buy a new RV, you're just not going to have the issues like you would with an older one. You're not going to have to worry about as much. And that might be true, because newer RVs aren't going to have to worry about things like lines being old and crumbly, not having the strength they used to, breaking because of the years they've been on the road. You know, most of that stuff's going to have brand new lines. But all you got to do is do a quick review on the forums, and you'll see that people with brand new RVs are having issues too, just different types of issues. But it might be true. I'm going to concede and say that a newer RV might have less issues, but you just never know in today's world on how stuff is manufactured. But let's go back to what I said about being able to roll with the punches. So me, I like to work on stuff myself. I like to do as much myself as I can because I know it was done right, or at least I know how it was done. And so I like to do a lot of stuff myself. And also, a repair bill at a place like a Freightliner or an RV shop is huge. I mean, those guys get paid, I think the lowest I've seen is like low $100 to something an hour, which is just so crazy. So let me give you an example. If you follow our videos, when we were at Huntsville State Park, you'll know that our water line broke. Now that could have easily put a big damper on our trip, but since I got my hands dirty and went in there and tried to finagle it, fix it myself, we didn't have to end the trip. If I had to depend on a repair place, I may not have gotten it, and that could have easily ruined the trip. So normally when we're hooking up to city water in order to have water to our bus, we're hooking up to a little spot here, and you notice that it's missing. So the connection broke in the back, and I had to bring it out to the side here and rehook everything back up that way. It's got no support for the weight, and now today I have to fix it back to what it was and fix the water line back to manufacturer's specifications. So this ended up being a relatively minor issue that I was able to fix in just a few minutes, and which cost me nothing. And now fixing it will only cost me a few dollars in parts, more than likely. Now let's talk about if you had called someone to come. Well, you're gonna have to pay a minimum for them to come out, which is gonna be 60 bucks, maybe at the cheapest, and you got to pay that no matter what. Most places do this. Then they come out, and then that's when the time starts. So they'll come out and charge you for an hour minimum. So let's just say it's $100 an hour. It's probably going to be more expensive than that, but let's just say it's $100 an hour. And then they may or may not even have the parts. So when I say roll with the punches, I could have very easily shut the trip down on that water leak. But rather, I found a solution where we could finish out the trip and get the RV home and fix it here at home. So if you're one of those types of people who depend on others to fix everything you have, then RVing is going to be very, very expensive for you. Now my point is this: don't be discouraged by this. You are going to have some work with an RV, whether it's a motorhome or a trailer. But nothing is too complicated in these where you can't tackle it yourself. Or at least get on a forum and ask. There are thousands upon thousands of people that are already RVing. Chances are they've already dealt with this. So I'm going to circle all the way back around to the truth of RVing. RVing is a lot of fun, but to reiterate my point, it's also some work. You're going to have breakdowns. You're going to have tires blow, especially if you have a trailer. You're going to have engine things go bad in a motorhome. You're going to have small water lines break. You're going to have trim come off. Your fridge is going to go out and you're going to have to get it fixed. But you know what? That's okay. The whole point of RVing is to be able to go places you couldn't normally go without one, and to relax and have fun. It's going to happen. But just be prepared. Roll with the punches. And here's my final word and thought. Don't be afraid to get an RV. Don't be afraid of the RV that you have. Even if you're a veteran, things will come up that you don't know. Join a forum. Join a Facebook group. Facebook was really popular these days with the RVs. There's all kinds that have thousands of members willing to help you. But the key is, don't be afraid. You can do it. You can fix it. I believe in you. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next video. Bye.